Good morning. Happy Thursday. Gosh, that didn't start off very good. You know what I'm going to say. I hope you're having a fab start to your day. Today's Q&A. We got some really good things to discuss. Nighttime snacking, energy levels, sleep, suggestions to keep you on track while away on the weekends, tips to shut off your brain during yoga, and last but not least, help with constipation. So I am going to get right to it. First question that came in is, I am struggling with nighttime snacking. Any tips? So I'm going to start with what you do during the day. If you have skipped meals, if you've skipped breakfast, but if you have skipped meals, if you haven't eaten enough, then that may very well lead to nighttime snacking. So one of my suggestions, of course, make sure you're eating enough food. But the meal, your last meal of the day, your dinner or supper meal, make it a big meal. Lots of protein, lots of healthy fats. And when I say lots of protein, like at least 30 grams, if not more. I'm eating a ton of protein right now in my calorie deficit, and I'm not feeling myself very snacky. Yes, I'm hungry, but I'm not necessarily like craving snacks, because what ends up happening in the evening is we're typically not eating chicken or beef, eggs, for example. We're reaching for things like popcorn, for chips, nuts, fruit. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it can be hard to stop, to satiate yourself. It's much better if you portion out your snacks rather than obviously eating out of the bag or the container. So that's another tip, but it very well can be behavioral. If it is something that you have done for years and years and years, be gentle on yourself. If you are snacking less time than you were last week, that's a win. So I wouldn't say, if you've been snacking on popcorn or chips or chocolate chips or cookies or whatever your snack of choice is, if you've been doing that for years, don't tell yourself like, I'm going to completely stop snacking. Because is that attainable? Is that achievable? Probably not, because if you do end up snacking, then you might feel guilty about it, right? And then just say, what the heck, I'm snacking, I might as well eat the whole bag, right? I've been there. And I know other people have been there as well. So even limiting the amount of times you snack is a win. Changing what you snack on is also a win. So having something with protein, maybe having a Greek yogurt bowl with fruits and nuts, maybe having whipped cottage cheese. I showed this on my stories yesterday. If you haven't looked at my stories, one of my favorite things, I love cheesecake. If you love cheesecake, then this might be for you as well. I just blend up cottage cheese, put a little bit of lime or lemon juice and half a scoop of protein powder, blend that up, and then I add strawberries or any type of fruit really. A little bit of fat. I put pumpkin seeds on mine yesterday. It is so delicious and satiating. And I think it's better for you than sitting down with popcorn or a bag of chips, for example, which are just carbs and or fats. And that can have an impact on your blood sugar levels, which can impact your sleep. It can then impact what you end up craving or eating the following day as well. So hopefully that's helpful. But replacing that with something else, drinking a cup of tea can be helpful if you just don't really want to snack, busying your hands with, like, I've been into coloring. Yes, I'm 41 years old and I bought myself some fancy markers and a coloring book, and I will do that in the evenings. I will remove myself from the kitchen. So we have like an open concept living room, kitchen downstairs. If I am kind of feeling a little bit snackish, I remove myself from downstairs and I go upstairs. We have another bonus room upstairs. So even just changing where you are, changing your environment, getting away from the kitchen is hugely helpful. Brushing your teeth kind of signifies, hey, I'm done eating for the day. And if you have any other tips that you want to share for nighttime snacking, I welcome them all. All right, next question. My energy levels are low. Help. This is a tricky one. First things that come to mind, again, is you're just not eating enough. Food is fuel, food is energy. The one thing that comes right to top of mind is carbs. Carbs are that quick energy. Carbs are not bad at all. The types of carbs you eat do matter. Simple carbs versus complex carbs. And simple carbs, I'm talking things like sugars, not fruit, because fruit has fiber, which slows down basically absorption of it. So it does give you that quick energy, but not the hunger you would get if you were just to snack on like a cookie, for example, or candy, syrups, jams, like those type of simple sugars. But typically you're just not eating enough. Another thing is that your minerals are low. Sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium. Those are all so important. And I've talked a little bit about HTMA tests, which are your hair tissue mineral analysis. So it is a sample of your hair. All of the HTMA tests that I've done, and I've done stacks of them, well over 75 at this point, women are depleted, I should say, that's a better word, are depleted in essential minerals because of undereating, because of thyroid dysfunction, because of just the quality of food, the quality of water that we are drinking, and stress levels. Stress is going to deplete your essential minerals. So mineral drops are, and I wish I would have brought some up here, but they are downstairs. I'll share it in the chat after I'm done. But adding mineral drops to your water is a game changer. Adding salt to your water, game changer. In the morning, like I have very salty water. I drink element packs, so it is an electrolyte pack. I do salt my water. I salt all of my food. Like I consume, and I'm not talking like regular table salt. I'm talking Celtic sea salt, Himalayan pink salt, minerals. There's a difference between them. Pink salt, Himalayan salt, both great. There's not one that's superior than the other. But if you don't have mineral drops, just putting a little bit of salt in your hand, in your mouth, and then chasing it with some water is such a good idea. Helps with managing your stress throughout the day and gives you the minerals that you need for, it's your mitochondria, the energy of your cell, to function optimally. So do not be afraid to salt your food. I wouldn't go and like salt absolutely everything if you haven't been consuming salt, because you can then end up retaining some water, but slowly increasing your salt intake, starting with the morning, is one of the best things that you can do for your energy levels. And then sleep, which brings me to my next question, is what can I do to improve sleep? But if you are not prioritizing sleep, then you're going to have low energy. And I know that there's some of you that are probably saying, but I sleep so well and I still have low energy. Then it's probably a food issue. It's probably a mineral issue. But making sure, and I say 7 to 9 hours, but most women function best at that 8 to 9 hour mark. And I know it's hard to get to bed, especially at this time of year. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. At this time of year with the Oilers playoffs and the days are just longer, the evenings are nice, you want to stay up and, you know, enjoy your time, but it very well can be impacting absolutely everything. And I say everything, meaning your hormones, meaning your energy, meaning your hunger, your mood, your recovery, your strength, like so many things. And this is one thing that like I don't veer off of. Last night I kind of broke a few rules because I wanted to watch the game so badly. So I'm reading my book, my Kindle in bed. I've got my iPad beside me, no volume, but it's just on because I wanted to see the rest of the game. But finally I was like, okay, I've got to shut this off and get to bed, and didn't see the Oilers win. But you get my drift here. Like, sleep needs to be protected at all costs. I've said this before. Basically, it should be like your second job because it is that important. Now let's move on to what can I do to improve my sleep. So blocking blue light it's important. I didn't really do that yesterday. Yes, I was reading my Kindle, but I still had that blue light flashing on me. It doesn't happen very often, but blue light, if you are going to watch TV, blue light blocking glasses are fantastic. It stimulates an awake state. It stimulates cortisol, like your cortisol curve is going to be completely out of whack, should be the highest in the morning, and then, you know, go down and release melatonin. It's all based on light, on sunlight, blue lights, that sort of thing. Staying off devices. I know, again, it's like, oh, but that's my time to like wind down and to just like relax, but it's actually not doing that to you. On a physiological, deeper level, it's messing with your hormones. It's messing with your sleep. It's messing with your sleep cycles. You're probably not getting as much deep sleep and REM sleep as you need for you to feel as best as you possibly can. And then just getting into some type of routine. Whatever that looks like for you, I would say like at least an hour before you go to bed is to start like calming things down. So like dimming lights, staying off electronics, maybe preparing your lunch for the next day, possibly getting your coffee pot ready for the next day. I get my kettle ready because I drink tea in the morning. It is possibly doing some stretching or some meditation, some journaling, brain dumping, reading, skincare, shower, bath, whatever it is, activities that feel good, feel relaxing, and something that's consistent. And again, routine. Our body thrives off of consistency and routine. And if you're doing the same thing or in and around the same thing every night, you're signaling to your brain, oh, okay, it's time to wind down. It's time to relax. It is now time to go to sleep. Hopefully that's helpful. Next question. Do you have any suggestions to keep me on track while I'm away this weekend? So to start things off, if you have access to a refrigerator in your hotel room or wherever you're staying, I think that bringing or buying food from a grocery store is ideal, just to limit the amount of time that you are eating out. You can still make great decisions when eating out, but you just never know what is in the food. And I'll just use Edo as an example. Like, I will eat that on occasion. I'll use like half cauliflower rice, half regular rice, double up the protein. I use like minimal sauce, which is half a scoop. But the oil that they cook everything in, you just don't know how much oil. It could be an extra 1, 2, 3, 400 calories, depending on what they're using. And the oil that they use is not great. Inflammatory seed oils, well, I said it. They're inflammatory. They can wreak havoc on your gut. They can just make you feel blah, inflamed, for a lack of better words. I'm not saying you can't eat out. That's like Crazy. We still eat out, but we do cook like majority of our food at home and pack as much as we possibly can in coolers, and then get a room with like a kitchenette if we can, so that we can prep as much as we possibly can. But tips and tricks: proteins. Pack some protein powder with you, pack some collagen. Hard-boiled eggs are a great option. Turkey pepperoni, jerky, Lara bars, RX bars, fruit, nuts. What am I missing? You can add things to the list. Vegetables and hummus are fantastic. Going to the grocery store, grabbing a rotisserie chicken. There's lots of options at grocery stores nowadays. You can get like side salads and pick your dressing, or choose no dressing, add a bunch of chicken. That's like a go-to for us. What else do I do? Yeah, that would basically be what I personally do on vacation or on getaways or weekends away. And remember that when you do eat out, you always have the choice as to what you put into your body. So choosing grilled over fried, asking for dressings on the side, always asking for some type of vegetable, 2 servings of vegetables. Even ordering like off menu is a thing. You can ask for just like plain Jane food. I'll get steak and a baked potato with no toppings. I'll add butter to it and some salt, and then I'll get some vegetables. That's a common one for me. I'll get a burger, lettuce wrapped, side salad. Sometimes I get fries. Typically ask for vegetables as well. And it just leaves me feeling great. Another thing too is a lot of these meals, like look at the menu beforehand, and you can possibly eat half the meal and then take the other half for another meal, because a lot of them are like upwards of 1,000, 1,500 calories. You could, depending on how much you eat, get 2 to 3 meals from one meal that you have eaten out. I hope that makes sense. So I'll leave it at that. Again, if you have any suggestions on what keeps you on track while you're away, I welcome those tips as well. All right, next, any tips to shut your brain off during yoga? Sometimes days it's so hard to shut the brain off, especially at the end when we lay and meditate to end the session. I don't think the goal should be to shut your brain off. I don't think we can. Can we shut our brain off? I struggle with this. I still work on always bringing myself to the present moment. Yoga is a practice. Meditation is a practice, because you're always trying to improve. I don't think anybody is perfect at doing these things. We are all human. We all have thoughts. Even if we try not to, there's something that's going to come floating by. And I say floating by because that's what I visualize for my thoughts. If I have something come into my brain, some days are worse than others, but if I have something come into my brain, I visualize it as a cloud. I acknowledge it. I recognize that this thought is happening, and I watch it float away. And then I bring my attention back to my breath. I think that that's the best thing that you can do, is always come back to concentrating on your breath and being present. And that's ultimately what the practice of meditation is. Same thing with yoga. When you are doing a downward dog or an upward dog or a lunge or any type of movement, is actually concentrating on what you are doing. Scan from head to toe to make sure you're in alignment, you're breathing, and that's going to be super helpful for just helping you remain present and engaged in that session. Hopefully that's helpful. Last but not least, I'm constipated. Help. Constipation, not a comfortable thing to go through, and it's not normal. We all should be going to the bathroom once, twice, if not 3 times a day. The stool, it's toxic, it's waste. We need to be removing that. That's how we get rid of excess hormones. That's how we get rid of toxins, that's how we feel our best. If we are constipated, then it's just recirculating in our body. Like it doesn't just stay in your intestines, right? It leaches out into your bloodstream, and that could be a reason why you struggle with mood, with energy, low energy, I should say, poor sleep, skin issues, that sort of thing. Is your detox pathways are clogged, not working properly. So constipation, make sure you're eating lots of fiber. Fiber, I'm talking vegetables, fruit, like at least a fruit and or a vegetable at each meal or snack. That's what you want to aim for achieving. If you're really struggling, magnesium can be helpful. Magnesium citrate or magnesium glycinate are the best. I prefer glycinate, to be honest with you, because it just has so many other benefits. I find citrate can lead to really soft stools if you're not careful, whereas like glycinate, yes, it helps to move things along, but it also helps to calm your nervous system. If you've got something like restless legs, which I struggle with once in a while, magnesium can be very helpful, and there's just tons of other benefits as well. What else for constipation? Movement after your meals, just something small, doesn't have to be 10-15 minutes, but some air squats, going up and down stairs, walking around your kitchen, going for a walk around the block, that can really help with motility as well. And if you're not eating enough, that may lead to constipation. So again, making sure you're eating enough. And last but not least, certain foods, gluten and dairy. Those seem to be the one in all of my experience here working with clients and even with myself. If I have too much dairy, it's not a good thing. And then gluten for me usually leads to looser stools, but I know it can do one or the other. So if you struggle with both diarrhea and constipation, I would take a look at the food that you're eating and be aware, be mindful, keep a food log, write in your notes in your phone when you get constipated, when you have loose stools, for example, so that you can start tying things together. Because often, there's a reason, there's a root cause to why this is happening. So I will leave it at that. If you have any other comments, questions, drop them in the chat below or the comments below. And I hope you have a fab Thursday. Talk to you soon.